back to the pretty much defunct but sort of still here Backstage in its YouTube channel. My name is Catherine. You can find me on my blog at backstageknits.com, Ravelry as Backstage Cat Knits, and Instagram and TikTok as Backstage Cath. I wanted to pop on here, even though it's been literal years, because I have a vacation coming up, which will have a lot of knitting time, and I want to do a fun little vlog about what I get up to knitting wise. Like I said, lots of knitting time, got some yarn store visits planned, so I think it'll be a really fun time, and I felt like popping in and saying hello. I've been watching some YouTube knitters again, and so I thought this would be fun to do. I am going on a trip to San Francisco and Denver, and I'm actually taking the train. So currently I'm in Seattle, and I'll take the train down tomorrow morning. It's about a 20-ish, almost 24-hour trip from Seattle to San Francisco, spending a couple of days there, then getting on a train and doing a 36-ish hour trip from San Francisco to Denver, a couple days there, and then flying home. So I think it'll be a really great time, but I have lots and lots of knitting time. So felt like it was a good time to pop in and share what projects I want to start. The first thing is I wanted a project in general that had a little bit more um, that allowed me to be a little bit more engaged mentally. I've noticed a lot of my projects recently have been very potato chippy, very easy to get through, which definitely has its place, but I wanted something a little bit more engaging, especially since I've got lots of free time with this vacation coming up. And so I'm really excited to finally start the butterfly shawl by Marinja. I don't know how you say her name. It's probably just Marina. Um, Knits, and this is a gorgeous shawl that uses short rows to create this amazing color work. This pattern's pretty old. I got the yarn for this in like 2018, and this pattern was several years old before that. So it's definitely a throwback, but it's one I've never made and I've been wanting to make for a long time. So this shawl calls for two colors, and one color should be a sort of long variegated skein. The recommended yarn actually is this, and that's unique fingering. This is color 3002, and it's this gorgeous yarn with sort of tans and beiges, pops of turquoise that are really gorgeous, a little bit of purples and maroons. And I think it will just look so, so beautiful in this shawl, paired with this gorgeous maroon here. This is Pendragon yarns. They're 100% superwash base in the colorway Mead Mazers. So I think together we won't see a ton of the contrast, but I just think these yarns will look glorious and beautiful, and I am so excited to start. It's also really fun that I'm starting this on a train trip because I got these unique yarns when I took the train down to Philly when I was living in Connecticut at the time. So kind of a nice tie-in to previous train trips with this project. So really excited to get started on this one. I probably won't get a whole ton done on the train. This is probably more of like a nighttime project versus a sitting and knitting and watch the world go by type project. But we'll see how complex it is to start. The pattern author did mention that while there's a lot of counting involved in the short rows, there's also like long stretches of garter that make it easy to get through. So we'll see. But I do need some more mindless projects that I can sit and read or sit and watch the world go by out the window, which is what I love to do about trains. So my cousin wants a pair of socks, and so I'm going to make some socks for her out of this gorgeous neon pink from Ocean Fibers. I got this at Flock Fiber Festival this year. I originally got this to include in the West Knits Mystery Knit Along this year. However, it didn't quite work with my colors, even though I bought them together just in the shawl. This was too neon compared to what else I had. So I've got two skeins of this, which is more than enough that I need for my cousin's socks. I found this pattern today called the Madge Socks by Sari Nordlund, and it's this gorgeous kind of variegated not variegated, excuse me, cabled pattern with bobbles on the heel, which I just think will be a really nice good mix of pattern and not pattern that I will make on the train. And then I have this skein, which will become a TBD kind of true mindless sock pattern. Might do Hermione's, might do kind of my like standard cabled sock, something that I don't need to think about at all, don't even need a pattern for. This is from Marlene's Angora. I got it at Rhinebeck in I think like 2021 maybe, or maybe 2019, one of those years surrounding COVID. It's just a nice sort of neutral with pops of yellow and blue and brown. So will look really nice in a kind of basic sock with some texture. And that will be sort of my true mindless knit that I can sit and watch the gorgeous mountains go by. Now, I feel like I might be able to actually finish a pair of socks on the train, especially because my cousin has very small feet. So these will probably go very, very quickly. But I only brought 3 projects because I do have some yarn shop visiting planned in the trip. So I've got options, and if I really run out, I will use what I buy. I've definitely got the ones in San Francisco already planned and working on what my Denver leg of it looks like. So yeah, that's what I've got planned to do the trip. I'm hoping to get some really fun clips, both of the train knitting and of my vacation in general. So that's coming next. I hope you enjoy. Bye. So I've officially finished the first section, about 12 minutes of work. And I'm about to put my little right side stitch marker on here, which is this cute little sourdough stitch marker from Sucre Sucre Miniatures. I thought that would be perfect for the stitch marker on this shawl, since I'm going to a place famous for sourdough. Yeah, so I think this is us moving and not that train moving. Yes, we just started moving. We were having some mechanical trouble, but looks like we're good to go now. So I'm gonna just keep knitting away on this, and I'll check in later. Okay, so one thing that I'm noticing so far on this is wrapping and turning is doing things to the cable that is less than ideal. So I gotta do some untangling, and I guess just something to keep in mind. The biggest thing that's weird so far about this is that I have not done wraps and turns in I don't know how long. I usually do German short rows if I need to do short row stuff. At least that's the patterns that I've required. And so it's like a little bit of a remember to like do the next stitch and wrap that versus doing double stitching into the existing stitch. So other than that, we're going pretty well. We got through the first short row section, and it looks like a thing, and I only had to slightly back up once. So yeah, we're in Tacoma, which is our first stop of the day. Yeah, we're leaving that now, so gotta keep working on this. Hello, it is a little before 5, which means I've been on the train for about 7 hours, which kind of feels crazy. It felt like no time at all in a lot of ways. But I figured I'd talk about what I'm doing with my Traincation socks. These are the ones I mentioned I'm knitting for myself. Uh, I wanted to go watch farms, so I decided to cast these on. I am doing what I tried to do in 2019 was like design a themed pair of socks, and I tried to get a little too clever with it um, by having like mountains going by, and it looked weird. But I do kind of like this train track pattern. Let's see, we'll focus on that. Yeah, there you go. So it's just like a knit purl bump ridge. It's a little hard to see right now, but I think once I get more than one pattern repeat in, it'll start to look nicer. But yeah, that's just my little like quick and easy knit purl train track pattern, and self drafted, for lack of a better word. So yeah, this is about 2.5 hours, maybe 3 hours of knitting on my sock. So yeah, that's that. Um, wow, we are noisy. We're going through a town. We just passed, uh, not just, we're between Albany, which I did not know was a town in Oregon, and Eugene. So we are making progress. Eugene's our next stop. And yeah, I'm gonna take a little nap because I did not sleep well last night in anticipation of this journey. So I'm gonna lay down for a little bit and then enjoy the rest of the sunset. I am on the west side, so I might get to see some cool um, sunsets. We shall see. That's the nice thing about the sleeper car. Well, sometimes it's not nice, depends on where you are. Last time I was actually on the lower floor from my Connecticut or my Chicago to California leg, which was kind of less than ideal. But I'm on the upper floor in this one, which is A plus plus. So yeah, I'm on the west side. I'm on the upper floor. I'm very excited to have a lovely evening. Once it gets dark, I will probably maybe transition to my cousin's socks. Maybe work on butterfly a little bit more. But yeah, just enjoying this slow, lazy time. I met another knitter. We sat and chatted for a little bit, and she actually visited the yarn store where I knit on Fridays. So that was a fun little thing. And she gave me a recommendation for it to go on vacation, which I already had on my list, but it was nice to hear that someone else went to that in San Francisco. So yeah, all right, this was a ramble. Talk to you later. Hello, it is about 8:35. I'm gonna do one last little quick talking video while we still have a tinge of natural light. You guys can see the sunset going by out here. It is gorgeous, and I won't keep anyone up because people might be going to sleep soon. So I did also cast on my socks for my cousin and got about halfway through the ribbing on those. I'll probably work on this some of the night tonight. I'm pretty tired, so I think that the butterfly shawl is not necessarily gonna go well at this point in time. I don't think I quite have the energy to make that happen, but we'll see. And I'll probably check in again tomorrow morning. So enjoy these little clips, and I'll talk to you soon. Good morning from about an hour outside of San Francisco. We are nearing the end of leg one of the train journey, and I figured I'd show off all together what I knit yesterday. So here's what we've got. This is about 5,100 stitches, which is a little less than I feel like I thought I'd do, but I definitely spent some time working on this, and then twisted rib takes a long time. So I am technically 4 shapes in to my butterfly shawl. It's looking really cool. Definitely takes some mental energy to get through, take some time with all the wrap and turns, but I'm really enjoying it so far. And my little, oh, it's so cute, it looks so good on there. I, like I said, did about a repeat on this. Didn't touch this again last night, so that's still looking good. I'll probably work on this for the next hour before we get to San Francisco so I can watch these lovely mountains we're seeing go by. And then I did the rib on my cousin's socks. So this one, I'm not sure how much I'll get done, but that's what that's looking like, nice and pink. And yeah, this is our current view. Gorgeous little mountains. We were going through some orchards earlier, and looking forward to our last couple days, and looking forward to the last hour of the Hey everyone, it is Friday evening. I just got back from a day of adventuring with some takeout. I'm waiting for my soup dumplings from the Nepalese place nearby to cool, and so I figured I'd pop on and share some of my yarn adventures yesterday. I did a little solo yarn crawl inspired by a YouTube creator I found called M to the Third, and I just happened to watch one of her recent videos when she was here in San Francisco, and so I don't know if I followed her route exactly, but these are three of the yarn stores she went to, so I went there as well. I stopped at Atelier, I don't know how you say this, first, and I got some gorgeous worsted weight yarn. We have Anzula fibers for better or worsted, which is a merino cashmere nylon blend in this gorgeous teal. The colorway is Blanche. And then I got Walking Lavender Fiber Co. Walking in the Rain on their vintage worsted, which is a superwash base. And I think these will look glorious in a brioche hat together. They have at that shop where if you buy something. I don't know if it was like a certain amount, but you get a free pattern with the purchase, and they had a display. I think actually in these colors, because it looks like based on this note that they teach a class on it. So I'm going to make this pattern, I think, with those two, because I got it for free. This is the Share Care hat by Reina Cruz, and I think it will look really, really lovely with this light one as sort of the main color you see with the pops of teal in the contrast. So that's my plan for that. And then on my way to the next shop, which was Imagine It, I saw this really fun bookstore, and I can't say no to a bookstore. And lo and behold, sitting on the sale rack out front was a cute little crochet book, Cute Crochet by Christine Hayden. And I don't know, it just looks really fun. I have something on my art wall that I crocheted like a squid, and I mounted it on a canvas with hot glue and like painted. Before I did that, I painted a little ocean scene behind it, and I think some of these would be really fun to like paint into little scenes, which is why I got this. Even though I don't do a ton of amigurumi and I'm very bad at the finishing skills, but I think some of these will make fun little art. I'm looking to expand my art wall that I have behind my couch, which is all handmade items. So I gotta get on adding to that. And then, so after the bookstore, I went to Imagine It. And they didn't seem to have a lot of local dyed yarns there, which is what I usually try to do when I get my, as I called it today to my friend, souvenir yarn. But I am working with the Yurth yarns in the butterfly shawl that I'm making right now, and they had some of these sock striping kits, and I made these before and loved every second of it. Like they were unput downable. So I got this fun little one with pink and teal that will eventually be made into socks. If I finish this pair on the trip, which I'm on the heel of, I'll talk about that in a second. Maybe that'll get used, but you know, I don't have that much time on this trip. And then finally, I went to my favorite store of the three was Firebird Yarns, and I really probably should have gone there first, but I ended up shipping what I bought there because I'm like, I have limited space, and I'm probably going to want to go yarn shopping in Denver as well. So, and there were a lot of things there that I wanted. So I bought 3 skeins and shipped them there. I think I got a little video of it, but I got 2 like very not variegated, 2 plain colored yarns, something of this color and a black, and I'm planning some sort of 2-color shawl that I think I'll get a lot of wear of. I found myself wearing this color a lot lately, so I think that will get a ton of use as a 2-color shawl with the black, and then just a gorgeous, really fun fingering weight, crazy variegated skein that I will use for a pair of socks eventually. So yeah, that was my little mini yarn hop. Because of that, I've actually not done a ton of knitting, but I've worked on these mostly as I've gone to and from places and sat at some bars doing some knitting. So I'm on the heel, maybe a little bit, maybe about halfway through the heel. I started this at the Valkyries game at the women's sports bar today. So yeah, my plan for the rest of the night is to just eat my dumplings, chill, and probably work on the butterfly shawl. So I hope you enjoyed that little ramble, and I'll talk to you later. I'd say that at the end of every one, and I should probably stop saying that because, like, this is all one video for you. Anyway, on to the next clips. Hello, this is a little insane. I am riding in a Waymo, which in San Francisco is a driverless taxi, I guess. And yeah, it's definitely a little bit weird to not have a driver. But it's a little bit cool to have a car by yourself. And yeah, I just wanted to note that because I'm heading back after an amazing afternoon and an amazing dinner with my coworker and his husband, and we just had an awesome time. We had at this place called Starbelly, and the food was delicious. So I haven't gotten a ton of getting done today, but I've done a lot of exploring and hanging out with the two of them, which was a really, really awesome time. So yeah, that's my day 3 in San Fran. This is the status of the projects before getting on train 2. We've made good progress on the shawl. We've just done a little bit of the pattern on these socks. I work on these the least. And then I'm about to pick up the heel flap stitches on my first train sock. So we'll see how far I get. This trip is going to have a lot of really good views, so I will probably spend most of my time on these. We'll see how it does in the next 36 hours. That was big. Hello, hello. Welcome back to Seattle. Thought I'd pop in and share the final progress on my projects on vacation and also show off the yarn that I got at Firebird because that came while I was in Denver, and then show off the last things I got in Denver. So let's start off by closing the loop on what I got in at Firebird Yarns in Denver, which was definitely my favorite yarn shop, I think, of the entire trip. They just had some amazing colors there, some local stuff, and I really, really enjoyed it. And yeah, so I got this gorgeous skein from Junie and C. This is their Planet Rock. I think that's the colorway on the fingering sock weight, and it's this is gorgeous, like green pops of yellow, a little bit of pink and orange and blue in there, and this is going to make some gorgeous socks, most likely. Although when I opened it, and I was like, oh, I kind of don't hate it with these. Although it's probably a little bit too dark to pair with this gray in anything sort of meaningful. So probably just socks. But these gorgeous skeins, I just could not say no to. This wall of these, solid colorways really, really caught my eye. Just gorgeous colors. This is Sea Change Fibers, and it is a merino silk base with pretty, I would say, like a light fingering at 500 yards and a 100-gram skein. And just look at these gorgeous babies. Let's see, do they have colorways? Yes, this is Odile and Kolsch, which are very, very appropriate colorway names. And I cannot wait to make a two-color shawl out of these two. I think I mentioned this. I've been wearing this yellow a lot. I have a lot of like a couple of flannels that have this like yellow as an accent color, and I've been wearing it a ton, and so I think this will really get a ton of use in a two-color shawl when I get to making that one day. And I also got this cute little pin that's a glue gun that says "crafty little bitch" because why not have a little bit of fun. Okay, and then so that was Firebird Yarns in San Francisco. My trip to Denver did not include as much yarn shopping as my trip to San Francisco. The few yarn stores that were there were very spread out and not really easy to get to in terms of like uh, oh my god, what's it called? Public transportation. And I didn't have a car, and it would have been hard to get to them. And also, I only had a couple less days there, and just, I'd already bought enough yarn, was worried about space, just didn't make it a priority. But there was one shop I went to, which unfortunately was closed on the day where it would have been most easiest for me to go to. But we made it there, and this is the Yarn Shop Denver, which was in this cute little, like, apartment building that was built in the 60s. It was really fun. And I got some of their uh, sort of homegrown base. This is local wool from local sheep near Denver. And so we've got a gray and a brown, and then their natural wool is dyed by like the shop owner's 6-year-old granddaughter, someone who's 6. I missed the exact relationship, but it's this gorgeous like light lime green colorway, and I think this will make a very cute 3-color colorwork hat. And so that's my plan for this when I eventually get around to it. So yeah, that was my final yarn purchases. Like I said, not as much in Denver, but that is okay. I still got a ton of yarn, And I actually have plans for it, which doesn't always happen when I buy souvenir yarn, other than just like, let me get a skein of sock yarn. And to be fair, I still have souvenir yarn from Spokane trips in both 2020 and 2024 that have not, do not have projects on them. But we'll see. I do sort of have things I want to do with these, so we'll try. I feel like I have been better about not just going to yarn stores and buying yarn than I used to be. I definitely feel like when I first started, I wanted to be part of the we're gonna go on yarn crawls and all that stuff. And now, while I like to purchase what I call souvenir yarn to yes, eventually make things, but kind of as a souvenir of the trip, I found that I go yarn shopping in my home much less. Now, that's not to say I think I don't do it at all, right? This um, top I just made, like I went to a spot and bought yarn for it, but I've been a little bit better about like going and buying yarn with a specific project in mind rather than just buying yarn, which is probably good for the consumerism of it all in my wallet. But whenever I'm on a trip, I do like to have my little souvenir yarn, and so I got plenty on this trip. But I have things I want to do with all of it, so maybe that's good at least. All right, let's show off the final projects because I got a good amount done. Not quite as much as I thought with days of train travel, but we shall take it. So on my the project I probably got the farthest on is my, I'll call them Traincation socks version 2 versus my Traincation socks version 1, and I actually do have one whole sock done on this guy. So I think I've showed this off before. This is just a little self-made pattern where I have kind of a train track knit and purl section. And yeah, I got my one sock done, my heel flap and gusset, my eye of partridge heel, nothing crazy about them. Finished one sock. This tended to be my out and about knitting, just because I don't have to think about this in any way, shape, or form. And then I got this much done on the second sock. Most of this was knit at a Colorado Rockies baseball game. I had forgotten to move my stitch marker over, but when I started the game, I was just about done with the heel and knit all this through the course of the game and a little bit after. But yeah, that's the socks. These will probably be the first to finish off because I'll just pop these around and take them with me places to work this week, and they'll probably get done pretty darn soon, which is good. Shifting that from the project I worked the least on is my, I don't remember the name of this pattern, something with an M, Madge socks. And yeah, I think this is exactly the same place I showed you last time. I can't remember if I even showed this. I think I did. But yes, I got through 7 rows of the pattern, I think. And you can see that shaping up pretty cute with the bobbles. And I'll work on this eventually, but it just, because it was like a pattern, I didn't want to work on it a lot. And I had the other project heavy pattern, or pattern heavy project in the butterfly shawl to work on, which was just a little bit more enjoyable with the garter stitch than the cables and the bobbles. Speaking of which, I have made some great progress on this. This is what I worked on most of the plane ride yesterday too, which is probably easier to work on socks, but here we are. So this is how my butterfly shawl is looking. I do wish 2018 me had chosen a more contrasting yarn for the contrast color. I do think it blends a little bit too much, especially in certain sections like up here. You kind of see the earth and the contrast color are pretty similar, so you don't see that like striping as much, but it just adds to like the cool butterfly flowy vibes. So yeah, that's that. I'm midway through the second section. We are making good progress. I can't remember if I've talked about this before, but I would definitely say this pattern is not for a beginner knitter, only because maybe this is just me. I did not realize for the longest time with wrap and turns that you had to do something on the next row. I think I had started a wrap and turn project after I had done like a twin stitch knit fish lips kiss heel, and I didn't realize there was a secondary step, which there is with a twin stitch, but it's much more obvious that you knit them together than it is in a wrap and turn. And so I have made wrap and turn projects, one finished and one I eventually frogged, where like you did have the big gaps, even though I had wrapped it before turning it because I didn't pick up the wrap. So it doesn't tell you to do that, which it shouldn't, I don't think. This is like a me thing, but you just sort of have to be paying attention in a way that I as a beginner wouldn't really have known how to do. But now that I am not a beginner, the pattern is really not all that intimidating. It's a lot of words, but it actually makes a ton of sense once you get into it. And yeah, it is looking, I guess I should hold it this way, which is the way you actually probably wear it as a shawl. It's looking really cool, and I cannot wait to keep knitting it. It is a really enjoyable knit. It's counting, but it's not a lot of brain matter, and yeah, it's good choices. I think this one will get a lot of wear. So that's it. I hope you've enjoyed this vlog of my travel journeys. I have no idea when I will post something on this YouTube channel again, but this has been fun for me to keep track of, and hopefully fun for me to make and edit. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one.